निधये सर्वविद्यानां श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। अपारकरुणासिन्धुं ज्ञानदं शान्तरूपिणं श्रीचन्द्रशेखरेन्द्रगुरुं प्रणमामि मुदान्वहम्। सद्गुरुचरणारविन्दाभ्यां नमः। श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम्। So, welcome to the Viveka Chudamani class. Now we are going to see, so this class is going to be about qualities of the student. So let us have a very small recap. So what is the game plan here? We all have got Manushya Janmam. We all have got human being Janma. We all are human beings, and we all understand that this human being birth, this Manushya Janma, is very, very hard to get. And we should not waste it on other activities, but we should really focus on getting moksham, which is the freedom from the cycle of birth and death. And how to get moksham? Shastra says jnanam, meaning knowledge is the only way to get moksham. Okay, but then how to get jnanam? Shastra says if you want to get jnanam, you have to undergo scriptural studies. You have to undergo studies, scriptural studies. You have to undergo systematic studies of scriptures under a proper guru for a length of time. All these three things are important. First one is systematic study of scriptures. You cannot go like just now, like if you are a beginner, you just cannot take Mandukya Upanishad and read and try to understand the Mandukya Upanishad. It's not going to work for you, because like say for example, an 8th grader cannot go and study like a master's syllabus. Of course, the 8th grader is not going to understand anything. Everything has to be introduced in a systematic manner, and like that even scriptural studies has to be done in a systematic manner. That is point number 1. Point number 2, under a competent guru. You cannot go, even say Viveka Chudamani, it is a very systematic scripture. We cannot just take the book and start reading ourselves, because we are going to get a lot of doubt. And the scriptural studies has to be done with a proper guru. And the third point is for a length of time. I cannot do like, okay, this week I got so interested in Viveka Chudamani, I started reading, or I went to the Viveka Chudamani class. But then the next class, if I come and if I attend it after a month, we are not going to understand anything. It has to be a consistent effort. That's what, in order to get jnanam, you have to undergo systematic study of our scriptures for a length of time under a proper guru. Okay, now that point is clear. As with any course, like for example, like if I want to do a MD program in the United States, there are going to be some requirements for pre-med, right? In undergraduate, you have to take a pre-med course, and you have to finish biochemistry, psychology, blah 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 blah, and you have to do the proper major. You have to do all the calculus, all the associated things that are needed. There are a lot of prerequisites. We call them as prerequisites, right? Even for a MD program. But what we are going to do, this is not MD, this is moksha, right? So even for moksha, there are certain prerequisites for the students. The students need to have some qualification in order to enter the study of Vedanta. And just like in pre-med, okay, I studied biochemistry in my undergrad. Now that I gotten into the med school, can I forget all the biochemistry that I studied in my undergrad? No. Even though it is called as a prerequisite, you cannot forget it once you start your actual studies. In the same way, even though these 4 are called as prerequisites, even after studying the Vedanta, we cannot stop having all these qualities. You have to have these qualities in order to study the Vedanta. You have to have these qualities while studying Vedanta, and you have to have these qualities even after you studied Vedanta, in order for Vedanta to give you enough solutions to the problem. There is a great Upanishad called as Mandukya Upanishad. And Adi Shankara's teacher's teacher, Adi Shankara's Paramaguru, called as Gaudapadacharya, he has written a commentary for the Mandukya Upanishad called as Mandukya Karika. And in Mandukya Karika, Gaudapadacharya says, even after somebody who has undergone systematic study of our scriptures under a competent guru for a length of time, if for that person, if he wants to derive all the benefits from the knowledge he has got, then he has to have these qualities. So even after attaining jnanam, if I want to reap the benefit of that jnanam, I need to have these 4 qualities. So these 4 are very, very important qualities. Just because it comes in the introduction, it doesn't mean that you can just, go through it and then forget about it. You have to have these qualities always in your mind. That is point number 1. Point number 2, I don't have these qualities. I'm going to explain what are the qualities. Somebody can think, I don't have these qualities. Can I drop out of Viveka Chudamani class? That is the major question that people will have. And Shastra says, hey, even if you don't have these qualities, that is okay. But try to culminate these qualities while you study Viveka Chudamani class. It is okay. I got just to pass in my biochemistry, just enough to enter into the med school. But it doesn't mean that after going to med school, I can develop my biochemistry knowledge. No, right? Even after going to the med school, if I want to understand about how the disease works, how the disease progress, etc., I can always strengthen my biochemistry knowledge. In the same way, even if I don't have these qualities right now, even if I don't have these qualities 100% right now, we can always work on improving these qualities. So that is point number 2. And what are these qualities? So Swami Paramarthananda says 4D. Because all these qualities, if you translate to English, they all start with the letter D. So you need 4 Ds in order to study Vedanta. Okay, what are those 4 Ds? They are discrimination, called as Viveka. Dispassion, called as Vairagya. Discipline, called as Shatka Sampattihi. And desire, called as Mumukshutvam. I'm going to repeat it. The first quality is Nitya Nitya Vastu Viveka, that is discrimination. The second quality is Iha Amutrartha Phalaboga Viragaha or Vairagya, called as dispassion. The third quality is Shamadhi Shatka Sampatti, called as discipline. And the fourth quality is Mumukshutvam, called as desire for moksha. We are going to see these qualities elaborately in forthcoming classes, because this is very, very important. Let us go to the first quality, discrimination or Viveka. So Viveka Chudamani says the whole thing is called as Nitya Nitya Vastu Viveka. Okay, what is discrimination? In olden days in Tamil Nadu, in like traditional Orthodox household, they have 2 categories in kitchen. One they say is for pathu, and another they say it is for non-pathu. Even in our house, we used to have 2 kitchens. One for cooking rice, etc., and another for making coffee, because milk is considered as non-pattu. Milk, ghee, curd, etc. They are not pattu. But cooked rice, cooked dal, they are called as pattu vastus. I really don't know how to translate this in English. But if we go, why they had these two qualities, if we really see about it, whatever things that are perishable, whatever things that can spoil easily, that is called as path. Meaning, whatever things that are impermanent, relatively impermanent, those things are called as path. Like rice. If I cook rice in the morning for India's heat, by the time, afternoon or evening, the rice will get spoiled. If I make sambar, rasam or something with coconut, it is going to spoil by the time, for the dinner, right? So those things people classified as path. And those things which has got relatively permanent, relatively longer shelf life, like yogurt, ghee, or oil, those things are non-path. Does Shastra say Viveka, discrimination, we need to have the knowledge of pattu and non-pattu in order to get moksha? Is that what Shastra says? Actually, kind of Shastra suggests that. But it is not between pattu and non-pattu, but it is between permanent and transient things. Remember, pattu is transient, the thing that can easily spoil. And those things that are non-pattu, they are relatively permanent. And here, Shastra say, when I wanted to have viveka, when the Shastra says viveka or discrimination is a prerequisite for Vedantic studies, Shastra here says you need to have discrimination between permanent and transient things. Okay, how do I understand permanent and transient things? So nitya, anitya vastu viveka. Permanent vastus are nitya vastus. Those things that are always present. And non-permanent things or transient things are called as anitya vastu. The meaning those things which has got a date of birth and an expiry date. If I cook rice in the morning, the date of birth of rice is morning. And when is the rice going to expire? In the evening, right? So rice is an anitya vastu, cooked rice. So those things that has got a date of birth and an expiry date are called as anitya vastu, and those things which are always present, it is called as nitya vastu. In Tirukkural, Thiruvalluvar has written 10 Tirukkurals. He has dedicated a whole adhikaram for this. The adhikaram is called as Nilayamai. He says, Nilladavattrai nilaina என்று உணரும் புல்லறிவாண்மை கடை. He says those people who consider transient things to be permanent things, they are going to suffer. They are manda buddhis, says Thiruvalluvar in Tirukkural. Okay, I still haven't answered the question. What is pattu and what is nitya and what is anitya vastu? Let us see anitya vastu first. Let us see what are all the impermanent things, and then we can go for permanent things. What are impermanent things or what are anitya vastu? All the other things, including our body, mind, and this entire universe is impermanent. I said, whatever things that's got a date of birth and an expiry date. We all have a date of birth, our birth date. We all are going to go one day. And this whole universe has got a date of birth. If you ask scientists, Big Bang, they say that is the date of birth for this entire universe. And scientists also say the entire universe is going towards a big crunch, meaning the entire universe is going to get destroyed one day. So whatever thing in this universe, they all are anitya. What about our body? We understand our body is anitya as well. What about our mind? Our mind is also anitya. We don't have all the memory powers that we used to have when we are young. You know, as old age grows, as age increases, our memory power decreases, our decision making power decreases, our swiftness in making decision, all these things are getting deteriorated. So all these things are impermanent. So that is the first thing we need to understand. All the other things, including my body, including my mind, including the entire universe, they are anitya. They are temporary. They are impermanent things. From the morning coffee, from the gulab jamun I really like, from the fancy car, even lots of money, everything has got an end date. Hence, if we depend upon those things for our permanent happiness, remember the goal of Viveka Chudamani is to get permanent happiness. We don't want temporary happiness, we want permanent happiness. If we depend upon those things for our permanent happiness, if we depend upon impermanent things for the permanent happiness, then it is not going to work. I really like my iPhone, but iPhone is going to come only for 5 years. After 5 years, my iPhone is going to die. So if I depend upon that iPhone for my permanent happiness, it is not going to work. In the same way, I fall, I broke my bone, I am in lot of pain. And even that pain is transient only, because the pain is caused to my body, and pain will come and go. The wounds will heal. After my wounds heal, even the pain is going to go away. So all the happiness and sorrow from these other things are impermanent. Meaning, you cannot depend upon these things for permanent happiness. So that is the next thing that we need to understand. So here I'm going to give you all a homework, an exercise. We have to take 5 things that we really like, and we think, okay, I cannot live without these 5 things, or I really like these 5 things. And we should start thinking about anityatvam, meaning impermanence of those 5 things. It is a really hard exercise if we do it honestly. You don't have to tell me, but just ponder before 5 minutes going to bed, or 5 minutes in the bed. Okay, I really like my morning coffee, but my morning coffee is impermanent. Why? There will be some day where the milkman is not going to come. In India, there is a hartal, there is a lockdown, where people are finding so hard to get, things like milk, vegetables, etc. So my morning coffee is not permanent. I'm not going to get perpetual coffee for entirety. That is gone. Like that, pick 5 things that we really like, and then ponder about the impermanency or the anityatvam of those things. Okay, now I understand what is anityam. But Shastra says, Viveka, you have to discriminate between nityam and anityam, right? So I have to tell you what is nityam, because the whole point of this class is to get permanent happiness. I say that, okay, you cannot depend upon your body, mind, or anything else in the universe for permanent happiness, because they are not permanent. They themselves are not permanent. Then what is Nitya Vastu? Shastra says, Brahman is the only Nitya Vastu. Adi Shankara says, Brahma Vastu, Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. Brahman is the only thing that is ever permanent. So if we want permanent happiness, then we have to depend upon Brahman for permanent happiness. If we depend upon Brahman for our permanent happiness, then you will get permanent happiness. Apart from Brahman, all the other things, are impermanent. So you cannot really depend upon them for permanent happiness. So that is the Nitya Anitya Vastu Viveka, or the discrimination, which is the first quality of a Vedantic student. Here, I want to remind you of an Ashtotram of Mahaperiyava. One of the Ashtotra Namavali of Mahaperiyava is Nitya Nitya Viveka Pradayakaya Namo Namaha, meaning the one who teaches the discrimination between the transient and the eternal. So in the next Guruvara Puja or in the next Anusha Puja, when we are praying to Mahaperiyava, yes, we always have a big list to pray, but we also have to add this. Hey Mahaperiyava, please give me the discrimination. Please give me the power to discriminate between Nitya Vastu and Anitya Vastu. They have added this nama for people like us. Okay. So that is the first quality. What is the second quality? Second quality is Vairagya, or dispassion. Since all the other things, meaning since all the things other than Brahman cannot give us permanent happiness, we have to really think, can we afford to lose our peace over these petty things? Whatever can come, whatever can go. Somebody, some people really like their morning coffee, and without their morning coffee, the whole day they are going to be so grumpy. So we have to think, can I really afford to lose my peace of mind over that impermanent coffee? If that coffee is so important for my life that I'm going to lose my peace over it. So we have to think that. That is called as Vairagya, or dispassion. In Tirukkural, Thiruvalluvar says, Yadanin Ningiyan Nodal, Adanin Alan. He says, those things which we depend upon happiness, if we stop depending upon other external things for the happiness, then we are going to be permanently happy, says Thiruvalluvar in this Tirukkural. Tirukkural is a great Vedantic text. People who say, okay, no, Tirukkural is the best, you have to, we have to respect Tirukkural. Even those people have not read Tirukkural properly. So Tirukkural has to be read from Vedantic point of view. It is on par, it is at par with Bhagavad Gita. So everybody, those who know Tamil, those who can read Tamil, just go through all the Tirukkurals, so that, these things, Thiruvalluvar explains these things very, very lucidly. So coming back to the topic, dispassion, Vairagya, we really have to ask ourselves, can I lose my peace over these impermanent things? So in order to aid those, those kind of thinking, we have to see what are the problems or doshas associated with the anatma vastus. Meaning, atma is Brahman, anatma is all the things that are not Brahman, all the other vastus. So what are the problems or doshams associated with anatma vastu? Number one is dukkha mishritatvam, meaning always anatma vastus are associated with the pain. Say I really like gulab jamun. I really do like gulab jamun. But if I want to eat gulab jamun, I have to work for it, right? I have to get money either to buy gulab jamun or to buy the necessary raw materials that are needed to make gulab jamun, and I need to get somebody to make it for me. So it is pain. And say somebody makes gulab jamun for me, after eating it, I cannot be happy because I really will be then worrying about my sugar levels. Right? Doctor says, hey, don't eat gulab jamuns, don't eat sweet. But I really like gulab jamun, I really like sweet. If I eat that, then there are two types of pain. One, before eating the gulab jamun, it takes pain to obtain gulab jamun. And the second pain is after eating gulab jamun, I need to suffer. My doctor is going to scold me. So those are the two types of pains that is associated with gulab jamun. If we think about it, all the anatma vastu has got this pain. And this pain is called as pain associated with yoga and kshema. Yoga means obtaining something. Kshema means protecting that thing. I'm building a house. It takes a lot of money to build the house, right? And if I want to make money, I need to work, and that is pain. So that is the building a house is the pain associated with yoga of the house. But once I build the house, I cannot be happy because I need to protect the house, right? I need to see whether the house is properly painted, or if there is some defect in the house, if there is water leaking. Even after building the house, I need to keep on maintaining the house. I need to protect my house from earthquake and things like that. So those are all pains associated with the kshema, or the maintenance of the house. So all the anatma vastu is going to have that defect. It is going to have, some kind of pain is always going to be associated with it. So that is called as dukkha mishritatvam. Dukkha means pain. Mishritatvam means mingled or mixed. It is always going to be mixed with the pain. Second dosha is atriptikaratvam, meaning unsatisfying. Okay, I asked my wife to make a gulab jamun for me, and she made the gulab jamun. I ate the gulab jamun. Yes, it is very, very good. But that gulab jamun is not how my mom used to make. On my 8th birthday, my mom made me a beautiful gulab jamun. It just melted in my mouth. But when my wife made it, it is not equivalent to that. My wife is staring at me, but that is okay. But it is not equivalent to that. So I'm not satisfied with that gulab jamun. Or if I'm buying a car, I bought a latest car. 5 years later, or even the next year, the car company has made an upgrade. But I spent $100,000 on this Audi. I cannot sell the car, but I really wanted that new upgrade. Then I'm unsatisfied with what I currently have in my hand, right? So the second dosha that is associated with all the anatma vastu is atripti karatvam. First dosha is dukkha mishritatvam, meaning always associated with the pain. The second dosha is atripti karatvam. Sooner or later, I will be unsatisfied with the same product which I longed to have. I worked for 10 years to build that house. But then after the Grav Pravesam, I got invitation for another Grav Pravesam for my friend's house. The amenities in that house was so great. So now I'm unsatisfied with the house that I currently have, which I worked for 10 years. Atripti karatvam, unsatisfied. Then the third dosha is bandhakatvam, meaning addiction. You will be addicted to that anatma vastu if you ever wanted to have pleasure. Same, let us take gulab jamun example. Okay, I eat gulab jamun. Say I'll be happy only if I eat gulab jamun. Can I keep on eating gulab jamun? No, right? Doctor is going to scold me if I have to, watch my weight, or if I have to care for my health. At one point of time, I have to stop eating gulab jamun. And when I stop eating gulab jamun, I won't be happy. Same for coffee. I really like coffee daily in the morning. I got addicted to the coffee. But for some reason, the milkman did not come today morning. So I'll be so grumpy for the whole day, right? So, bandhakatvam, all the anatma vastu is going to develop some kind of addiction for it. So these are the three doshas, or the three problems that are always associated with any anatma vastu if you are going to depend happiness on that. So Shastra says, okay, so let us do another exercise. Take 5 things which we are very, very attached to, like coffee in the morning. Those things can be very silly things. Coffee in the morning, or my favorite TV serial, or my favorite book, or listening to my favorite song, and find out what are all the problems that are associated with those items. Because Viveka Chudamani is not like any other class. We cannot just sit and listen and not do any homework. If we really want to derive all the benefits of studying Viveka Chudamani, we have to keep on engaging the teaching into our daily life, into our day-to-day life. So this is the second exercise I'm giving. The first exercise is take 5 things which we really like and think about the impermanence of those things. The second exercise is you can take the same 5 things and then see dosha darshanam, and then list out all the doshas that are associated with those 5 things. So that is the second thing. Here we have to be very, very careful. Shastra says have dispassion towards those impermanent things. Have dispassion towards those anatma vastus. But Shastra never says hate those things. Often people confuse between these two. எனக்கு வாழ்க்கையே வெறுத்து போயிடுத்துன்னு சந்நியாசம் வாங்கிக்கிறேன். People will tell. Shastra says, Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, you should never do that. You get sannyasa because you are dispassionate towards those things, but you never get sannyasa because you hate those things. In the same way, we list out those things which have all these problems. What I have to do is, I just have to develop that mental discipline so that I don't depend on those things for my happiness. We can only go to that extent, but we should never start hating those things because of those problems. Okay, so that is the note I needed to make. And even here, if we go and take Mahapariva Sashtottara Namavali, there is a nama that says Ihamutrartha Vairagya Siddhidaya Namo Namaha. Salutations to one who helps people to achieve the unattached state in this birth and after. Meaning, who helps the devotees to really achieve dispassion towards impermanent things. So this is the second prarthana that we need to make during our Guruvara Puja and during our Anusha Puja. Hey Mahapariva, please help me attain that state of dispassion. Please help me attain, please help me for not being addicted to something for my permanent happiness. So this is the second quality. First quality is discrimination. The second quality is dispassion. What is the third quality? The third quality is called as Shamadhi Shatka Sampatti, meaning six-fold discipline. Shatka means 6. Shat means 6. Shat Sampatti, 6 disciplines. Since the discipline started with a quality called as Shama, the whole thing is called as Shamadhi Shatka Sampatti. Even in Lalita Sahasranamam, there is a nama that says Shamatmikaye Namaha. There is no point in saying Ambal has got all these 6 qualities. But what we really need is, when saying Shamatmikaye Namaha, we have to be reminded of these 6 qualities, and we have to cultivate these 6 qualities among ourselves. Okay, what is the need for these 6 qualities, or the need for these 6 disciplines? We need that in order in order to not distract ourselves from reaching our goal. We really need to follow, we really need to bring those 6 disciplines into our day-to-day life in order for the jnanam, in order to properly get the jnanam in the first place, and in order for the jnanam to give us benefits. So let us see what are the 6 disciplines. First thing is mental discipline, called as Shama. Hence the name Shamadhi Shatka Sampatti. First is mental discipline. The second quality is physical discipline, called as Dhamma. Dhamma is physical discipline. Shama is mental discipline. The third quality is looking inwards, meaning being an introvert. We are going to see all these 6 qualities in detail later, in coming classes. I'm just giving you what is what. The third quality is uparatihi, meaning looking inwards, meaning same. Let's take coffee for example. Even if I'm addicted to coffee, even if I don't have coffee for one day, whether I am happy or not. So that is the thing we need to see. If we are happy, then it means that we have the quality of uparati, looking inwards, meaning not depending upon others for our happiness. There are several people, they always need something. They cannot be by themselves. Either they have to read a book, or they have to, they have to have a TV, or they have to switch on YouTube. If we cut off everything, those peoples are not just happy at all. Shastra says you cannot be like that. You have to be happy by yourself, and that quality is called as looking inwards or uparati. The fourth quality is patience. Whether you get pain or you get pleasure, we have to endure those things, called as patience. Kshama, that is the fourth quality. The fifth quality is Shraddha, faith. Guru Shastra Upadesha. Faith on whatever Shastra says. Faith on the Guru's teaching. That is the fifth quality that one need to cultivate. And the sixth quality is laser point focus. Why do we do all these things? So that focus have to be there. I cannot have a casual approach towards moksha. I have to have a very focused approach. I have to have a very sincere approach towards moksha. That is the sixth quality that one should have. And even for this, there is a Namavali in Mahaperiyava's Ashtotram. Shamadhi Shatka Sampat Pradayakaya Namo Namaha. Meaning the one who gives all the 6 qualities to his devotees. For him, I pay my obeisance. I do namaskara for him. This is the third prayer that we need to have during our next Anusha Puja or Guruvara Puja. What is the first prayer? Give me discrimination. Give me ability to discriminate between Nitya Vastu and Anitya Vastu. The second prayer is give me dispassion or vairagya towards all the pleasure in this world and in the later world. What is the third discipline? Please help me to cultivate these 6 qualities so that whatever I study, whatever Vedanta I study is going to help me. With this, I will finish today's class. So we are going to see about all these 6 things in detail. I just told mental discipline. What mental discipline? I haven't told you. I'm going to talk about all these things, all these 6 things later. I'm just going to end with the fourth quality, which is desire, or mumukshutvam, desire for moksha. We cannot get carried away by all the 3 qualities. We always have to have why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? That question we always have to have, and that the answer for that question is in order to get moksha. So we have seen today what are the fourfold qualities of a student. They are nitya nitya vastu vivekaha, iha amutrartha phalabhoga viragaha, shamadhi shatka sampattihi, and the fourth one is mumukshutvam. So with this, I'm going to end today's class. We will see in the next classes what are each and individual things. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Next class, Papa. Bye bye.